Whole Story Quest Audiobooks presents The Chocolatier's Secret by Helen J. Rolfe, narrated by Sanderson. Chapter 1. Andrew. Andrew Bennett stared at the computer screen. "After all this time," he said out loud, even though he was alone. Julia Mason's name was right there in front of him, and he didn't even need to click on her Facebook message to read what she had to say. There was only one word. Why? After what she'd done to him, he'd wanted to ask her the very same question for the last 30 years. He heard Gemma on her way up the stairs, probably with a cup of tea. She'd been up before him this morning, and whoever was first out of bed usually did the honours. He shut the laptop, unable to concentrate on the online work he needed to do, and headed to the bedroom. He kissed his wife and took his tea into the bathroom, all the while trying to process memories of the past. He showered, ate a bowl of cereal for breakfast, and left the house on Myrtle Close to take the 10-minute walk to Magnolia Creek Chocolatier, the business he owned and ran. As he walked, he tried to shake off thoughts of Julia Mason, the girl who'd broken his heart in the cruelest way possible. He thought about his wife, Gemma, the woman who had his heart now. They'd met at L.J. Bennett Chocolates 11 years ago, owned and run by his father, Louis Bennett. The business was a lucrative, successful chocolate shop that thrived in the heart of the city. Andrew had learned from his father from the ground up, and as part of the business they'd run workshops. There had been a hen do one day, and Gemma was one of the participants. Andrew, especially knowing the amount of champagne likely to be consumed, and with no desire himself to get involved, had delegated the workshop to a female employee. And when he'd returned to the shop after running an errand, Gemma had literally fallen into his arms, drunk and more than a little unsteady on her feet. He'd been 34 years old at the time, and from that moment on he was smitten. Andrew and Gemma married 3 years later, and now all they wanted was a family. 8 years his junior, Gemma had age on her side, or so they thought when they'd started trying for a baby 2 years ago. She'd only been 35 then, and they'd both been convinced it would happen easily enough. But after falling pregnant quickly, a miscarriage had shattered their dreams. Since then, she'd conceived 3 more times, yet none of those pregnancies had gone the distance. Only 2 days ago she called him at the Chocolatier to tell him she'd miscarried again.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?